Yeah, tiny.
I heard he has a complex.
And a little bit of...
And I heard he has wedges in his shoes.
Really?
Did you hear that? Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe Kong would know more about that.
Well, we're picking it up here, folks, with James Bardo.
Yeah.
Put your hand up, James.
That's me.
Stewart Mansfield.
That's you.
Yeah.
Meeting for the very first time.
Very first time. How
time.
bizarrely.
And we used to live in the same area in England,
Right?
Taplow.
Yeah.
Maidenhead in London.
That's unbelievable. That really is.
We're here in Roppongi Hills. We just enjoyed some Italian food. We had a hot dog.
This is the center of Tokyo. You wouldn't think it. This is the center of bustling Tokyo.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you guys, after having met for the first time, you've had a chance to talk about music, your songs, your styles, things like that. Now, why don't we collaborate on writing a song for the first time together? Here's the assignment. On film for the first time.
Yeah.
Here's the challenge.
That's right.
Earlier in our conversation, you came up with an idea for a song called If the Walls Could Talk.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen?
Yeah.
You have 15 minutes to write that song.
Oh my gosh. The walls could talk.
So we were talking about escapades, weren't we? Let's say travel, tour life, being in a hotel. Oh my goodness, if the walls could talk.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be that though. It could be, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Something about home life. You know, when I'm away, what happened, or I don't know, something else.
Yeah.
Talking walls, not just if the walls could talk. Talking walls.
I like that.
Is it a happy song? Is it a sad song? Like
that's probably
the
maybe a happy song. Yeah, definitely a happy song. The walls could talk. The bed bugs in the room, you know.
How about we make the walls talk?
Oh, there we go.
If we could make the walls talk.
Something behind the walls.
Something behind the walls. Yeah.
You know, I hear a voice behind the walls. Did it stutter? Did it fall? I never know. Do you know? Talking walls. Talking sounds behind the wall.
Talking sounds behind the wall.
We got talking sounds behind the wall. If you ever stand up tall, we got talking walls behind the wall.
Oh, okay.
Something, you know,
like a funky.
funky, catchy,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Maybe sexy-ish kind
of.
There
you go. There you go.
Kind of this kind of.
There you go. They get a beat.
Yeah, like that.
There you go.
Yeah. That kind of sound in it.
When I first met you. There you go. When I first met you, were standing tall, looking down and down and down. When I saw you standing there, looking good behind that stair. Talking in behind the walls, talking in behind the walls. Then I told Tokyo stand tall.
Very nice.
Whatever. We're just coming off the head.
That's pretty nice.
We're definitely going to do something to
There you go.
Yeah.
That was inside 1 minute.
1 minute.
Yes, that was within.
It was like 1 minute. The remaining 14 minutes we have now.
Oh, you're going to kill us, Kong.
That's not too bad, though. That's an interesting title that no one's really done
That's right.
before.
That's right.
It's positive rather than negative.
That's right. That's right.
Funky track, that's kind of a cool
I like
idea.
I like it.
Yeah.
Why
Very
don't you
funky.
talk about each other's styles?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Do you sing? Do you
Yeah,
sing?
that's my job. Is actually I'm a singer first, a songwriter second.
So you could sing this?
Of course, yeah. But I would want somebody young to sing it if it had hit potential.
Oh, I see.
Because nobody's looking for a 58-year-old guy singing in the real world of TikTok. I really believe that, you know. The thing what pisses me, excuse my language, pisses me off about TikTok is, TikTok now, is right. you see all these young people, you know, dancers, and they got 40, 50,000 views, and they're you know, they're just cute. Yeah. They're just cute.
It's not even a dance.
It's not even a dance. It's horrible. I think it's, you know, and it's not fair. Like struggling musicians like you and I.
Because if you were to do that yourself, it would automatically there'd be like an ageism thing that would start to play,
That's right. That's right.
I'm not the first to say this, but the last allowed ism that we have is ageism.
Ageism.
Right? It's the
Most
last one that's like accepted still for whatever reason.
Right, yeah.
But if you think about it, the experience comes with age.
That's true.
And if you think about most of the songs in the charts that are written for an artist, anything K-pop or anything, 40-year-olds are writing those songs. 50-year-olds writing. That's not a 15-year-old writing that song.
That's right.
That's an
totally
experienced writer writing that. So I think the question is people just don't know who is writing these songs.
Yeah.
And if you were to jump on TikTok and say, you know what? People like me are writing these songs.
Yeah.
That could be a pretty big TikTok channel, actually.
That's
in fact,
true, yeah.
You know, if the TikTok walls could talk, that's what they'd say.
That's right.
Potentially.
The TikTok walls. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
But I totally agree. I think a lot of experienced writers are behind a lot of the music, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because, you know, they come from experience. I think the reason why I write pop and songs so fast is because I'm a musician, I'm a singer first. So I have all of these songs in my head. So
vocabulary.
Melody and hooks just come to me so naturally. Yeah. And, you know, in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I've written a whole song. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I'm singing these songs every single day, so I know how the structure goes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, but I'm not somebody famous, but, you know, my songs could be famous with somebody, you know, a younger face, you know, taking on that role, because I'm 58 years old. I don't want to be out there, you know, singing on stage at this age. I want somebody else to have the glory. I just want to be in the back collecting the checks.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You know, and doing what I love doing is writing music, you know. Instead of performing on stages, when I perform on stage, I want to perform when I want to perform on stage.
Yeah.
Not when the schedule has to tell me to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I don't think I'm an especially quick writer. I'm also, I don't know if you produce, I'm also a producer. So I take my time producing through the writing process, not just like come up with something in 10 minutes.
Right.
It's not quite my style, which is great, because then we have different styles, have different ways of coming at the problem. If we were both lightning quick, it might end up being just a lightning quick song rather than like a process song. Off the back of like an initial spark. That might be like a nice combination.
I actually do a little bit of producing. Like when I'm in the studio, I actually did a song, Kong had heard it, it's called, what's that song called? You and I. And there was this little karimba sound in the beginning, and the producer played it, and I said, yeah, I like that. I said, but I want that through the whole song. He's like, oh, really? No, I said, trust me, this needs to be through the whole song. As soon as we recorded it, my wife had heard it, and she get
she started singing the marimba.
I said, yeah. So that I just knew that's what had to be a part of the
ear
song.
candy.
Yeah, ear candy. You know, I said it's memorable, even if they don't remember, you know, the song. Case James, I wrote a song. It's called. What is it? I Don't Want to Do This Anymore, for an English girlfriend of mine, an English mate of mine, classmate of mine in England, and she was having trouble with her fiance or husband, and I wrote this song for her in about 20 minutes, and I sent it to her, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how long it took for you to walk out the door, and just, you know. When I sing it at the club, at the hotel, they'll say to me, Stewart, sing that song, 1, 2, 3. So it's already in the memory bank. I said, that's not the name of the song. It's called I Don't Want to Do This Anymore. But Japanese people remember it just easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Anybody can sing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just catchy pop melody, you know? And that's what you do is pop. And that's what we definitely have to do a collaboration, because I am in the studio recording all of this stuff, but we're not getting it done fast enough. I need, somebody that, like you, we can, of course, split publishing and stuff, you know what I mean? And get it done, you know.
The big key for us, I think, is the vocalist, isn't it?
Yeah.
The person that can just carry that lyric and the vocal.
I could do the vocal for, not a demo, I could record it, and then we could tell the artist this is what we want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of course, I'm not opposed to that. Actually, that's why I'm actually recording my songs, because I need to demo them to some other artist that knows how the song structure goes. But of course, I want them to put their own personality into it. That's what I want.
One thing we could also try, if you are opposed or not opposed to this, is take your voice recording and put it through AI, turn it into a different voice. You can make it a Justin Bieber voice. You can make it into. It's pretty impressive. I've done a few songs like that. It's pretty impressive.
Is it really?
It comes out essentially flawless.
Wow.
Like there's a Taylor Swift preset, there's a Billie Eilish preset. It's pretty incredible.
Wow. How is that on the copyright side as far as
I wouldn't release it personally, but it's as a demo, as I said, as a demo to give to someone. Here's what it's going to sound like, and then oh, okay, you're looking for like a Taylor Swift type voice.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Or you're looking for a Billie Eilish type voice. There's a whole range of them. There's a rapper in there. There's there's a country singer in there, like twang on it.
Wow.
It's pretty incredible what you can do.
I definitely want to. I was looking on Fiverr the other day for a country artist, and I actually found a country artist for a couple of my songs, because I have some folky country songs, and I don't know how much they charge. I'm at $200, but I definitely want to do that. Yeah. Because I actually recently I got a copyright strike. I sang I sang a cover of a song from one of my favorite artists, Bryan Adams, and it was a song called Heaven, and it was acoustic live. It was piano and vocal. It was beautiful. and I put it up and I put a disclaimer under the thing. Listen, this is not my song. This is rightful owner is Bryan Adams, and the record company Universal Music, they strike it. And I said, look, I've already put a disclaimer. I'm not a monetized channel. No. You know, why are you taking it off? But they ripped it off. Yeah. You know, and they gave me a strike. I said, I want to fight this. This is bullshit.
There's an interesting Rick Beato talks about this a lot, because there's artists, he says, I cannot use this artist because they will strike me down if I do it.
It's crazy.
Here's the artists I can use, that's why I'm interviewing them, but these artists, I'm desperate to interview them, but they will not let me. They will strike me down. And it's always the older generation. It's never the Billie Eilishes, it's never the young ones, Polyphia. They're all like, yes, use my stuff, because the more it gets used, the more exposure we get, the more money we make. It's YouTube views. They get money for that. They get AdSense for it. But the old artists don't understand this, or not all of them. Many of them, and their labels, they just don't allow it. You have to go with other artists, unfortunately. Do covers of Billie or something, you know? Do a quirky Billie Eilish cover as a 50-year-old. That's an interesting reverse, right? That would be quite good, actually.
But you know what? After this strike, I'm a little bit nervous. Even in if you use TikTok, if you use a scene where you're going like a typewriter sound or a whoosh, something like that, or a gong, they can copyright strike you just for that. So I go to copyright-free sounds and download. So I think it scared me. You know what I mean? I want to promote my own music, but what had happened was when I put this Bryan Adams cover up, in 18 hours it got over 1,500 views. So it was going really well. And then all of a sudden they strike it, you know.
That's a shame.
It is.
I think the AI thing is going to become more and more. I mean, I've had contracts. You know, here's the song, giving it to the label, and the label says you have to guarantee no AI has been used in this.
Really?
No sections have been taken from Splice. No AI has been used to generate the audio. I don't do any of that. It's not as a policy, but it's coming now as a thing. So I think AI is going to become a little bit harder to use in music if it goes the way it's going now, until the labels control it, when everything will just be AI.
Right.
But we can't use it, they can. It's how it's looking like it's going to go. It's kind of interesting.
But I also think, James, with the AI technology right now, you can't beat a human artist. I mean, AI can do a lot of stuff, but as far as songwriting,
there's only one song so far that I've heard that has blown me away in
AI.
It's called Carolina O. If you haven't heard this yet, check that out. I think it might only be on YouTube. Apparently, that the whole thing is AI. It is a country twang female vocal song. The lyrics in verse 1 are like, it hits me every time I hear the lyric change, and then it goes into the chorus, and it's a great, by any measure, by any metric, it's a great piece of music, and it floors me. All the others are weird. There's always something that's not quite correlating to how a human would do it.
Right.
But that one, there is no mistake in it. There's no flaw. It's got slide guitar in it in the background. I mean, it's got acoustic guitar strumming. It's completely AI.
Crazy.
It is crazy. But that's the only one. And that was 4 or 5 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago that I first heard it.
Look how they've come up now, right?
Exactly. Now you can say, give me a metal track, but from the 70s, not the 90s, and put Bryan Adams type voice on it, not.
I understand.
You can just so customize it. It's extraordinary. It is amazing.
I have a question.
Yes.
Talk about your songwriting process.
Excellent.
What is your process, James, for writing a song?
I'd love to know.
Stewart will get to you.
I'm actually thinking to make a course about songwriting, because I get asked this, I think we probably all do, but it struck me that many people, there's different ways of writing a song, and you're going to say a version that's different to my version, probably, which is beautiful. And sometimes we can meet, in the middle somewhere and make another new version of how to write songs. I love that. But my way usually is, I try and write the whole thing in my head with no instrument anymore. That's my way now. I want it to be nice and cemented in my head. And if it's good enough that I don't need an instrument to memorize it by, then I think it's going to be solid. And then I'll go back with the instruments. I'll try and write a whole song more or less musically, not lyrically, just musically. Lyrics for me come usually way later, apart from maybe the title, like a key line. It's the melody, the music. Okay, that's fixed now. Is it a club track? Yes, it is. Okay. I think I'm ready now to start making it, and then I'll jump into my laptop and start making the song. That's how I normally do it. But the hook and the the chords have to be strong enough that I can remember them without writing them down or voice memoing it or anything like that. And if I'm stuck, I have dozens and dozens of voice memos of ideas for a song just from this month.
Yeah.
So for the last 10 years, I mean, there must be gigabytes of voice memos in here of little ideas and snippets, like a bass line, a drum idea. I can just dive in there and just take this one, and make an idea quite quickly as well.
Right.
So after a period of time, you build up and you accumulate ideas. You can jump into there. Even if you have a brand new idea, you can jump in and go, oh, that works perfectly with this as well. That's how I do it, as a really quick way of explaining.
Well, I'm similar. As far as voicemails, I'm like riding my bicycle in Osaka. All of a sudden, this melody comes into my head, and I stop and record it. That happened with this song that I wrote called the new single that's out right now called "Someone Else's Fault." It's a parody and it's satire. It's about I can't really say it because there's a it's not politics. Let me get that straight right now. It's about someone that I personally knew, and I wrote it as a joke. Like, it's always someone else's fault. And in London Cockney accent, it's never yours, no matter what. Don't forget to blame somebody else. Just like taking a piss, because I thought about Life of Brian. Do you ever see the Monty Python? Do you remember at the end when they're on the cross, always look on the bright side?
That kind of voice.
Yeah, I wanted that kind of a parody on that set. So that song actually particularly came to me in my head, a melody, and I recorded it. Then I went home to my house and I got my guitar and I figured out the chord in like a minute. I was like, okay, this works. Sometimes I wake up from a dream and I've got lyrics already, and I'll memo everything down, and I'll sit on my guitar and figure it out. Sometimes I just sit there with the chord progression up and down, and then just lyrics flow. And my wife will say, what is that? I said, I don't know, I'm writing it right now. And I'll record, and I've written songs in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, So there's not really a set format as far as a process, how I do it. It's just the way it is. If I feel like writing a song, I write a song. I met some people in the coffee shop. They said, you got your little guitar, where are you going? I said, I'm going to go to the park and write a song. I went to the park and I wrote a song. It was an anthem song. It goes, you once called me your brother. We used to be best friends, but now we hate each other. I don't know why. You used to laugh at my jokes, but now it pains you the most somehow. Let's go back to being friends. Let's go back to being my brother. And I thought of a song by Sly and the Family Stone. What is it? Everyday People. It's an anthem song, because I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was talking to me about politics, and I said to Lisa, I do not want to talk about politics, please. And I said, can we just, I thought, let's just go back to being friends. And every time you talk about politics, we get into a bloody argument.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to talk about politics. I'm a musician. I don't want to talk about that. But then out of my frustration, I'll write a song.
Yeah. It's funny. One of the next questions that often comes up is, where does the whole song come from? Where's it? And I've heard all the people's answers, and the typical thing is, I don't know, it just sort of kind of appears, which is what often happens. But it struck me when you were talking then, because I'm the same, it just suddenly comes from somewhere. I think it's because your antenna are constantly just 24 hours a day, they're up. They're just going beep, 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 at everything, at colours, at sounds of the water, at clinks of glasses. Anything can trigger anything because you're just waiting for it to be triggered.
You're
in a continual state of give it to me. I think.
No, you're definitely right.
Is that right? Yeah.
You're right. And I was watching an interview with Lenny Kravitz, and his process is very similar to mine. He said, I'll just sit there and play the chords, and I'm just in such a relaxed state that I'm an antenna. And whatever God has given me, I'm going to write down exactly how it works for me. So when you said that, I totally agree with you. That's how Lenny Kravitz works.
Because your brain then goes from, I think this song could be like Sly the Family Stone kind of vibe, and then the video to that, I really liked it. And it's not just sound, it's like
everything.
Color,
it's all vision, color, everything. Wrap it up.
Oh, wrap it up? Okay.
No, that means you got 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
I thought it was like, let's take the big snip.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Oh my gosh, you're really working. Yeah, but definitely, James, that's definitely one of my processes. Songs from dreams. Like Paul McCartney. He wrote "Yesterday" from a dream. I heard, and people think, no, there's no way. I have actually written about 3 or 4 songs from a dream. I just, or just playing the guitar and just like you said, antenna.
I've woken up with one going, oh, that's a great song. The moment I wake up, I can't recall it. I can recall the vibe of the whole. It was from Amuro Namio, Japanese singer. I couldn't get it out.
That's funny.
We should talk again.
Yeah,
this has been
definitely.
amazing.
Oh man, it's great. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. Check out his new song.
And if you have comments, the people who are watching this video, if you have suggestions for these gentlemen, put it in the comments.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So along the lines of the song that we were thinking about, like, if the walls could talk.
Yeah, if the walls could talk. Behind the walls.
Yeah. Above the walls. Inside the walls.
Inside the walls. We're going to do something.
Thank you very much, Kong-san. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thanks, Kong. Thank you.